Hello, and welcome to the new edition of Retro Gamer Magazine. I'm not Darren Jones.
And I'm also not Darren Jones.
I'm actually Drew Sleep, the production editor.
I'm still Nick Thorpe, senior staff writer.
Where's Darren?
Darren, well...
It was a bloodless coup.
We've set him up on Chase HQ, and he's just currently playing there right now, and I've assumed control.
Or, alternatively, he's been at home looking after his ill kid.
Viva la Dig Dug anyway.
Yep. So, we should probably hold up the cover. Yeah,
So
let's do
Nick,
the cover.
You like Chase HQ.
I do like Chase HQ.
It's a bit before my time, but there we go. Chase HQ. So, who have we spoken to, Nick?
We have spoken to a couple of artists for this one. So Mark Edwards, who worked on the 16-bit versions, and Bill Harbison, who worked on the amazingly impressive 8-bit home computer versions. It's one of those things where Chase HQ was a pretty advanced arcade game, and it was just incredible how they managed to get it running on the Spectrum and Amstrad at that sort of speed with all the speech and stuff.
I know when we talk about good Spectrum games, you always name check Chase HQ as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, it's the Amstrad pick for another thing we're doing in this month, but that's hush hush for now.
Games that will blow your mind like
Can
crazy.
I just ask a question? Okay, I know I do this every month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does that not just look exactly like Outrun?
Okay, it does look a lot like Outrun.
It's got blue sky.
It's
tick.
got those skies. It's got that same sort of scaling thing.
Desert background thing going on.
Car.
It's a car.
Car.
You know?
Difference is, in this one, you chase down a bad guy and you ram him off the road. You don't do any of that in Outrun.
So it's kind of like Road Rash then. It's like a cross between Road Rash and...
Do you know what? Weirdly enough, I hadn't thought of that when I was writing this feature. It didn't cross my mind at all to connect it with Road Rash, but you're not the first person to have said it to me.
Ooh.
And you're the good guys in this one. You got like the wee woo, wee woo, wee woo.
Yeah.
You know, the siren. The
The wee woo, wee woo.
The wee woo, come on.
Yeah. As opposed to, going along on your motorbike and criming people off the road.
Yeah.
And then criming them again.
Criming them again, yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on.
We are going to the isometric world of Panther.
Yeah, so this is one that came out on the Atari 8-bit and various other 8-bit platforms.
Yeah, quite like Highway Encounter from Costa Panay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that, name checking things as a 12-year-old boy there. Speaking of Spectrum, look at that. We've got a nice little...
Some full-on rubber love.
That's good. You know what I was going to say, rubber porn, but...
Maybe
love.
don't Google any of these things.
We can't take responsibility for anything. Metroid's
good.
I'm going to talk about this because I love Metroid.
Yeah.
We've charted the legacy of Metroid into this recent wave of games that have been inspired by Metroid, like Axiom Verge, Cave Story, and even like more popular blockbusting games like the Batman series. We touch upon Metroidvania as a genre, but it's mainly about Metroid because Wonder Boy did a Metroidvania game back in like 1989. Is it Wonder Boy 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dragon's Trap.
It's a super good feature if you like Samus.
It's got some of the best box out titles I've ever seen. Chozo Your Own Adventure.
What's your favourite Metroid game, Nick?
I always plump for Fusion because it was kind of my first encounter with the series because I was a sort of Sega kid growing up.
Yeah.
So got it on the Game Boy Advance. It was fantastic fun, and unlike Prime, it didn't make me motion sick.
Ah, see. This is something Darren played in the arcades. It's basically a game where you draw lines and boxes and make the screen smaller.
Create your own Mondrian, basically.
Yeah, you've got to.
Yeah.
You've got to cover your own, a certain amount of the screen. So, like in this screenshot here, he's claimed 63%. He needs to get 75. So, nice big line down there would do it fine.
You know, he kept on saying, Drew, I really want to do a retro revival on Dig Dug. And I'm like, Daz, you've done too much Dig Dug.
There's so much Dig Dug.
He just loves Dig Dug, doesn't he?
It's amazing how much Darren loves Dig Dug.
Moving on.
This is something new for us. We're talking about... Actually, Nick, you're the technomancer here. So...
Yes. So, Play Retro today, we thought retro gaming is getting harder and harder.
Definitely.
Prices are going up for original cartridges and hardware. So we thought we would do a feature showcasing the best of plug and plays, ways to back up your cartridges and saves, all those sorts of things, and even TV upscalers, mobile devices, that sort of stuff. And we got to play with this crazy device, the open source scan converter.
It's got such a sexy name. It's like, hey, want to come around and see my OSSC?
Yeah.
It's got scan lines.
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece of kit right there as well.
Yeah, you know,
Nicely finished.
it
box.
It looks rough and ready, but it's half the price of the other upscaler on that page. There's lots of hobbyists and open source stuff out there, but it really does the job well.
Armalite. Got anything to say about Armalite?
It's a divisive game. They should have called it Marmalite. No.
Oh, God.
So, dreadful pun aside, it's a really cool shoot 'em up that did a lot of amazing stuff on the C64, but it's so heavily memorization based that it's a bit hit and miss as to whether or not you actually find it fun to play.
If the stand first wasn't bad enough. Alright. Zool.
Zool.
Or Chupa Chups the game, as I want to call it.
I played Zool as a kid. My dad had this on the Mega Drive, and he was kind of one of those B-tier platform heroes that came in the wake of Sonic and Mario and things.
Yeah. And Sparkster.
And Sparkster. You know, Zool had and has fans, and it was certainly a huge deal on the Amiga, so we spoke to George Allen, who was the coder, and found out how it came to be.
Yeah, he actually has a boxed version of Zool, which has still got the Chupa Chups lolly that came with it.
Yeah.
And, well, I won't spoil the story in there, but it gets gooey.
Indie Darren Jones.
Indie Jones, charting the return of Graham Mason, actually, after his brief hiatus. Yeah, he talks about the film and the game of the film of Indiana Jones. The divisive Indiana Jones film, if we're not, of the trilogy, it ends at the trilogy, yeah. There's no fourth one.
Right.
So, another story of Abex Electronics.
Yeah, I didn't know much about Abex Electronics, which was one of those things.
They're notoriously the company that brought us ETX, which is a game which is, as you might have guessed, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. But just to avoid Atari getting up on their ass, sorry for the A word, I'm gonna make kids cry now, aren't I?
Profanity. Age-restricted video, great.
Anyway, they put an X at the end of it, and eventually, boom, no copyright. Look at that, it's all fine. And apparently, this version of ET is actually better.
Couldn't have been worse, could it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the bar was low.
That definitely looks more like E.T. there.
He's got a TV in the pit there, he's all sorted.
Yeah.
Tiny TV.
Anyway, it's an interesting story. Read all about it. And now we're going to enter the world of Warcraft.
I have never entered the World of Warcraft.
I mean, I've had
I
had a brief holiday there.
I demoed it.
Yeah. I never went to the world of Warcraft because I feel like I'd still be there. And I'd be talking in, like, I don't even know what the language is, Azerothian?
I don't know. I've seen friends have an easier time quitting smoking than quitting World of Warcraft.
Anyway, this is a complete in-depth look at the entire series from insiders of Blizzard. And we also talk about the movie, which is, I haven't heard good things, but I've heard
I've heard that it's really popular in China.
Oh, a
new thing.
A new thing, which, well, it's like tape mode for magazines, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah.
Sorry, D-Ball. Oh my god.
Ooh.
Right.
Vertical
spread.
We have a lot of pictures of arcade cabinets which we've used. Just lying around in our little retro ether on the grid, shall we call it, I don't know.
This cabinet actually used to sit in the Retro Gamer pod some years ago. And yeah, it's a lovely cabinet. I still love the flight yoke on it.
Yeah. And what a better thing to kick off than Star Wars with the new film coming out and whatnot. Anyway, Mad Pandemonium. This one doesn't have a shit theme tune.
Hey! Mitch will be destroyed. Pandemonium, though, was really good. Like I played a fair amount of this on the PlayStation. It was...
I remember it as the game that I played a lot on Demo 1. And I remember the weird laughing jester.
Fargus, wasn't it?
Fargus, yeah. And
Mickey and Fargus.
And his weird wand. And that's not a euphemism for anything either. Like, he's actually got a weird wand. Like, you can see it here. It's like in his image.
It has a voice of his own.
It's completely different if you buy the Japanese version as well.
Oh yeah, isn't it called Magical Hoppers?
Yeah, Magical Hoppers, and the completely different art styles changed. Both characters are completely different. It's moving on. Oh, look at this. Kev Bayless. I like Kev.
Yeah.
This is a really good, candid interview.
It's the first time we've had him do a long-form sit-down interview about him rather than the things that he's worked on.
You know him as the man who made Battletoads.
Yeah.
Has creative control over them, pretty much.
That's... Just looking at that 5 to play, that's quite a legacy there. Cobra Triangle, Battletoads, Donkey Kong Country, Killer Instinct, and Diddy Kong Racing. I'm a fan of all of those, although Battletoads does make me want to rip my hair out.
He sleeps well at night knowing he's done that to gamers.
Yeah.
Just going,
Moving on.
We've got an extra sized review section in this issue just because we want to talk about the NES Mini a bit. Like you explain it, Nick, really more. Really, 'cause I can explain it that I just really enjoy playing it.
Yeah.
But, like,
Most plug and plays, the quality's not quite there. You've got dodgy controllers. You might have a fairly limited range of games. This encapsulates the whole NES era, you know, as well as Mario and Zelda, all the Nintendo stuff. You've got Mega Man, you've got Tecmo Bowl, which is a personal favourite, Bubble Bobble, Contra, Punch Out, all sorts of things. The emulation quality is spot on to the point where it flickers like a real NES with the sprites and everything. From top to bottom, it's a Nintendo product. The quality's there. The only disadvantage with it is that you can't add to the games on it. Retron 5 or the Retro Freak, they both have cartridge slots for the NES Mini. The thing that you get with this is value for money. Like, you get 30 games for far, far less than you get the original cartridges for. We worked it out and it was like £375 to get all 30 of these on original cartridges.
it's a mad saving as well, yeah. And look at that, next month.
Tomb Raider, 20th anniversary.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say it's the blowout of blowouts of developer blowouts.
It certainly is. I can't remember ever having a feature with this much interview content.
But yeah, you know.
We also have other things going on.
Oh yeah,
So,
this magazine's 116 pages long, isn't it?
yeah.
Good lord.
So we've got things like Barbarian,
Diablo.
the Sega SG-1000, the Sega console you never played. And at least one thing on this page won't be in the issue,
Well, yeah,
as is tradition.
That's our tradition. We like to keep you on your toes. So that's it for us this issue. I am not Darren Jones.
I'm also not Darren Jones.
I'm Drew Sleep.
I'm Nick Thorpe.
Viva la Dig Dug, my friends.
Dig Dug.